You see, that sound familiar?
Yeah.
And when I looked, behold, a hand was stretched out to me, and behold, a written scroll was in it. Boy, that sounds awfully familiar, doesn't it? I wonder if it's sweet, too. Well, let's keep reading. And he spread it before me, and it had writing on front and back. Oh, that sounds familiar, too. What have we known to be written on the front and back? The Ten Commandments, which is the foundation of the law.
Moses.
I'm looking for a C word. Covenant. Covenant. Commandments. Covenant. Yes. So again, we have this idea that this is a covenantal testament. It was written on writing in front of back. There was writings on it, words of lamentation and mourning and woe. He said, Son of man, eat what is offered you. Eat the scroll and go and speak to the house of Israel. So I opened my mouth, and he gave me the scroll to eat it. And he said, Son of man, eat the scroll that I give you. Fill your stomach with it. I ate it, and it was in my mouth what?
Sweet as honey.
Wow. So Ezekiel got it first. And what is the context of this? The message that God said you're going to speak to this rebellious house. That's what's sweet. And if you continue to read it, you will, that's where I want to end with that. But you see where Ezekiel is commissioned by God after seeing the throne room vision of chapter 1. He is then commissioned to speak the words of prophecy to a rebellious house, and the words are sweet to him. Yes?
Yes.
So when we look at chapter 10, and we see this mighty angel with a little scroll, and he's told to eat it, and it's sweet as honey, what do you think John is expected to do? Prophesy. And to whom?
To nations of people and Gentiles.
The whole world. Both. Ezekiel prophesied to Israel only. But John is told to prophesy. Back to chapter 10.
Many
verse
peoples
11.
and
What does it
nations.
say?
Many peoples and nations. And tongues and kings.
And kings. You see that? This is the commissioning, if you will, of John that began in chapter 1, chapter 4, now again here like a prophet, in the spirit of Ezekiel, to a rebellious people. Now notice, verse 11 says, I was told I must prophesy about many peoples, nations and tongues and kings. Now, look in the next verse. Remember what I said, that if we were reading this in a regular, as it was written, there would be no chapter breaks. Look at what is in the next paragraph. Then I was given a measuring rod like a staff, and I was told, rise and measure what?
The temple of God.
Now, where would the temple of God be? Jerusalem. There was only one temple to God, and that was in Israel. But he was just told he was going to prophesy to whom? All the nations. Now he's asked to measure the temple in Jerusalem. You see the Gentiles and Jews aspect of this? Why the angel is standing on both the sea and the land? This message that John is to be given is not just for the Gentiles. It's not just for the Jews. It's for whom?
Everyone.
Everybody. So keep reading. Rise and measure the temple of God and the altar and those who worship there. But do not measure the court outside the temple. Leave that out, for it is given over to the nations. He's already been commissioned to prophesy to the nations, so he doesn't need to measure that. He needs to measure the house of God. Okay? Leave it and give it over to the nations. They will trample it over the holy city for 42 months. And I will grant my 2 witnesses power to prophesy for 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. Now that gives us to who are these 2 witnesses? But unfortunately, we're going to have to end with that.